Alright everyone, it's been a long couple of weeks, but we are back. Hello everyone and welcome to the 11th season running of NEF1 Esports. We are here for the opening race at Circuit of the Americas in the United States of America for round 1 of the NEF1 Season 11 Championship. Brand new lineups, brand new teams for a couple of people as well. Certain lineups remaining unchanged, certain changing, and certain teams remaining identical to the way they were. One new driver on the field is 1980s Wildcat. We wish him welcome to NEF1 and the biggest of luck through the race and the season that is to come. He is racing for Atlassian Williams Racing alongside Recon, Jamar and Squidge. Nothing changing on that front. That lineup remains identical to what it was last season out. It'll be interesting to follow them for sure. And running that beautiful retro Ferrari livery for the year as well is Squidge 2017 and JMR. Absolutely gorgeous to see. Holman and Mr. Wilco in that Sauber running the splash livery as well. Just a bit more black on it. Fade out to green. Looks absolutely gorgeous, must be said. It's a very, very nice looking helmet there from Holman in certain colors that I quite like. Emreina in the Mercedes feels very, very right. He is racing alongside Makis 97 in the Mercedes. It's going to be a fun little lineup to watch out for. And Ray W25 alongside Matty Adam 98 in the McLaren. Tess back to his championship winning team in Red Bull. One to watch out for as well, for sure, as qualifying has just begun for this first opening round of the season. So then, 18 minutes worth of qualifying to set the grid for the 28 lap Grand Prix. Worth pointing out as well is that this race will quite essentially work as one big qualifying session for the reverse championship sprint race we are doing next week out, with the top 10 in the championship is reverse. So whomever finishes this race in P10 or is in P10 the standings at the end of this race, we've reintroduced fastest lap point, will be starting on pole position for the race next week in Las Vegas. I'll keep an eye on that when the time comes. We're on board now with Recon 21 in that Williams, formerly belonging to Wigan and Djokovic, the teammate pairing who have split up. Djokovic going back to his championship winning Aston Martin. Wigan, sole driver for the Haas outfit this weekend. We hope to see Darren Style, his teammate, alongside him in a week's time when we go racing in Las Vegas for the second round of the season. But then that Williams making his way around the third sector now, and I believe it's the first one on track to do so as well. With A33 BT, that is still a BT 336174. If you've watched the last 10 seasons of NEF1, you'll know him by that name. Now A33 BT, or just BT, as he'll be called from here on in. Then he's racing alongside Kit W41 Racing Bull's outfit. It's going to be fun to watch that little resurgence as well. Kit with a point to prove, and BT seemingly looking a bit better on form than what he ended up last season. Recon sets a 1:33.971 to start the season. It's the first lap of the season. It's quickly beaten by Holman. Whereas Wigan on track is coming into the third sector just now in a very uncharacteristic helmet for Wigan. Usually throws a little homage back to his home country. This season it's all white, red and black with a nice looking lid there for Wigan. Blends into the car beautifully. What is his former teammate up to in that Aston Martin? He's going through sector 3. Matty Adam has come through for the fast lap this session so far. It's about 700s quicker than Squidge 2017. Former championship rival from last season, and Reina's looking decent as well. Up on a 1:32.734. Very, very bright looking helmet for Reina there. Mr. Wilco seemingly going for the in-team look with the helmet. That's a very, very nice lid from Luna as well, who's moved into Alpine for this season with a helmet that looks absolutely gorgeous in relation to the rest of the car. Sub Levi, Watts, and Tess, who's just come across for a fastest lap by a second. Has Tess set the fastest lap of the session so far? Wow, that's a statement of intent if I've ever seen one. I believe those two might be running the same helmet, if I'm not mistaken, just with different color schemes. If it looks good, it looks good. Alright then, so most people having set their laps yet. We've not seen too much of 1980s Wildcat so far. I've been on board with him. There's a nice looking lid as well. Black, yellow and white with a bit of chrome on there. Currently sitting in P16 on a 35281. We have both the Racing Bulls and Hybrid not having set a time yet. Hybrid remaining in the pit lane, and Kit is the first driver this season to end up in a wall. We say congratulations to Kit for his efforts in the SS, and the first wall finder of the season goes to Kit W41 and his Racing Bulls outfit. Hopefully that's not a sign of the season that is to come for the two Racing Bull drivers. We will certainly hope not. We welcome Tollyman into the stream as well. Hopefully you're having a good time cheering on your boy Jamar in that Scuderia Ferrari, reigning Constructors Champions is Scuderia Ferrari. With that lineup as well, they've got something to prove this season for sure. So here we go, Van Holman's trying to shave off time in Sector 2 as well. It's about a 10.5 up. As Matt is reacting to that pace set by Tess, which is worryingly quick, 9/10 of a second faster than anyone else on the grid. That's including Matty and Squidge. We can deliver that sort of pace throughout the season. It's championship over before we've gotten started. Here we go then, Holman through the penultimate corner, and he's coming into the pit lane by the look of things. Not going to complete that lap. How's Reina getting along? There's going to be a completed lap, very close to the track limits there, just on the edge of it. Now, round in the final corner with 10 minutes to go. So only 8 minutes completed here. Just shaves up a couple of thousandths of a second. Doesn't move him anywhere, really. Just a bit closer to Noah. Djokovic seemingly informing that Aston Martin as well. Very, very closely paced to Noah as well. 4th and 5th right now in the constructor standings, and if that's a sign of things to come for Djokovic and Noah this season, I think it could be quite a fun season for the two. As here we are then on board with SFLY Jamar Jr. on 1:33.390. So it's a big pace gap in terms of slowest and fastest time so far, almost 4 seconds separating Tess from Wildcat. However, we can just count Tess's lap out because it's massively quick. We can count up the regular pace of Matty and Squidge instead and say it's about a 3-second gap between the entire field. Wow, Tess, that's a lap. So here we go then, for the first time this season, Hybrid out on circuit in his Alpine as well. Partnered up with Luna. Let's see what he's going to be able to do this season. Hybrid with 17 points to his name last year, if I'm not mistaken, and 1 podium. And Okada's looking a bit tail happy. Maybe that's just warming up tires a little bit. He's looking very, very tail happy that the back of the Alpine. The Ferrari off, I believe that Squidge might be starting another flying lap as well. Actually, it's J-Mo. Squidge is coming up just behind. I've got to go on board with Squidge here, though, to see just how much time he's going to be able to find on Tess for this attempt. 1:31.3 is the time to beat. Squidge has been able to do a 1:32.280. So Tess is a man who's seemingly quite happy with that Red Bull. I don't think anyone else. I don't think anything else can be argued, really. I don't think anyone can argue with that either. So Squidge here, rapid through the first couple of corners in the S section. However, he does not improve on his previous best. Now is the question then, is there maybe a slight mistake through Sector 2 or Sector 3 that can be, where time can be found? We'll wait and see. It is worrying that he's not able to find any time whatsoever through the first sector. However, it is mostly flat out. And Squidge now shaping off at least about a 1/10.5 of a second through Sector 2, which is going to see him ahead of Matty, but the question is by how much. Matty, what was he able to do for the Sector 2 split? We were unable to see, unfortunately. So we have yellow flags in Sector 2, that's people going slow on the DRS straight, just letting each other go. So then, Squidge 2017 is going to round the final corner just now. Jamar will come across up to P9, 33.1. Decent improvement from him, 0.8 of a second. Squidge improves 31.7. Still far off Tess, 0.4 of a second or more separating those two. Matty's been good in qualifying. He's good in qualifying again, but not quite good enough. 31.678. Still almost 0.4 of a second separating Tess, Matty, and Squidge. So worrying gap out front. Tess with quite a good grip on this qualifying session to begin with. I'd struggle to see someone beating that lap unless it's Tess again, who's currently just now then going through Sector 1. We'll go on board with this just to see what kind of lines he's taken. How much pace is he able to extract from that Red Bull? He is improving in Sector 1. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we might have something worrying on our hands for this season. It's 10 seasons on from when Matty absolutely dominated the point standings in Season 2. 10 seasons afterwards, we're going to have something similar from Tess in the Red Bull. Same car as well. Same livery, same everything. We're going to have the same situation Season 2. We'll wait and see. Tess is coming up to the line. Djokovic's improved up to 32.204 as a decent result. And Tess improving by about 0.1 of a second so far. Looking to improve even further. It's looking solid for him. It's looking very, very solid, that car. Takes quite a wide line through that corner. Doesn't really hug the inside, where you can just gain a little bit of time just by taking a narrower line through. Then easy on the throttle coming out of the final corner, and he goes up a 1/10.5 to a 1:31.158. Just when people were starting to get within, I'm not going to say touching distance, I'm going to say any sort of distance, Tess just decides to blast out another 1/10.5, and that is worrying for Matty and Squidge. If they're going to have to put up with that level of pace throughout this season, going to have a problem. 1980s Wildcat having a difficult time to start of the season so far. Is down in P18 on 1:34. Only Kit behind him at the moment. As for Hybrid, P17, but very, very close to the back of Wigan. Recon struggling a bit as well, and so is Ray on a 1:33.6. Is he going to be able to shape a bit of time off this lap? He's actually going into the pit lane. And so is Wildcat. So, space to find for a couple of people. However, this is one of those proper driver's track on this game, which really does favor certain types of driving styles. I cannot, for the life of me, do a lap around this circuit. I absolutely cannot, and I'd qualify plumb last around here. Whilst when we were doing a couple of trial races, I was actually able to keep up with the midfield drivers at least. So it's a big skill gap, but especially at this circuit, and a couple of others throughout the calendar, you would imagine. As then, absolutely everyone is in the pit lane with 4 minutes to go. It's not too often we have a situation like that, let me tell you. Can anyone just go outside of the pit lane, please, so we have something to watch? Whomever does it gets an extra 100 championship points just as a favor, and someone is selected to take that early championship lead. It is one of the Racing Bull drivers. I believe it might be Kit, who would make sense, seeing how he hasn't got a time on the board. And it is Kit who's coming out of the pit lane. Unfortunately, Kit won't be given 100 championship points, but it was worth the incentive to get something to watch. We have a Mercedes, we have an Aston Martin, we have a Haas of Wing coming out as well. Might that just be one of the Saubers coming out behind him? Yes, it is. So, Noah's coming out, Max is coming out, Kit's coming out, and Wigan is coming out, followed by Mr. Wilco. So we're going to have a bit of entertainment now, as the track conditions look to be actually worsening a little bit with the overcast conditions. Track temperatures are going to go down, air temperatures are going to go down. It's going to be a little bit harder finding traction around a couple of places, especially this corner where Kit is driving just now. One of the hardest traction zones on the calendar. We'll see how Kit's able to respond to it when it's time to go for that push lap. BT seemingly not too happy with this circuit. He's not expecting a big result here. A33 BT currently sitting in P13 on a 33.492. It's not got a massive way up to the top 10, about half a second, which can be found if you're down to the 133s for sure, but not seemingly too happy with this track then. The track where I first had my introduction to a BT actually, where he absolutely blasted away from the rest of the field in his, I don't think it was his debut race in NEF1, it was his first race where he really showed that massive potential that BT has. No one had anything to put up against him. I think he ended up last at one point, ended up dominating the rest of the race. So A33 BT will be one to watch out for always in this league. Everyone now out on track, so this means instead of having a nice and relaxing end to the session, we're going to have a lot to cover in a very, very small amount of time. We'll give it a go. It can't get any worse than a couple of times last season when it really didn't cover anything. Noah started flying a lap, then he's through sector 1 and up by a couple of thousandths of a second. Needs to improve by half a second in order to get ahead of his teammate Mercedes, just behind them. Both 32.7s, equally matched, Marina and Marcus. Moreno, who's had equipment problems throughout the pre-season, hasn't been able to do much testing, you would imagine, but the natural pace very much is there for Moreno. It's one to watch out for sure as well. I feel like he maybe underperformed a little bit last season. Let's see what he's going to be able to do now with a full season, hopefully with working equipment and no internet issues that he had. And Squidge has found the wall and is out of contention this qualifying session. He's not going to be able to get a lap in with the amount of time remaining. He is going to be starting P3 at best, the reigning NEF1 champion with a tough start to his season, not starting on the front row of the grid. So then, Jamar is coming up to the line before too long. Wiggins coming up to the line just now. Moves up to P13 on a 33.3 is Wiggins. Time to be for P13. As for SFLY Jamar, what is he going to be able to do? Coming around the last corner just now then. And up into the top 10. Next driver to cross the line. And Reina up at P4 ahead of Djokovic, ahead of Noah. Wonder Saubers coming across the line. Mr. Wilco up at P7. Next, we have the Ferrari of Squidge. We'll not pay too much attention to that, unfortunately. Djokovic, however, is shaving off a little bit of time, and he needs to in order to move ahead of Reina, who's currently sitting in P4. 32.1 is the closest to the top 3 yet. Djokovic, is he going to be able to rebound this season and start off with a bit of momentum in the Aston Martin, which he's done so well? Decent exit out of the final corner. He does not improve, just misses out a little bit. Noah is not improving on this lap one bit. Kit has moved into the top 10 and is currently sitting in P9. We missed that. Marcus, P8. Wilco, P7. Noah, as said, is not going to be improving. Matty wasn't able to improve. Tess does. And he takes... Oh, sorry. Matty was absolutely able to improve. Got very, very close in the end, actually. But Tess was just able to improve even further up to 131.135. That is a time that's almost unbeatable. Ray with a very solid qualifying effort in P4. 132.156 to place McLaren maybe as the team to beat for this weekend. Djokovic and Noah, what looked really good to begin with, ends up being a 6-7, followed by a Mr. Wilco and Holman. P8 and 9. Wilco out qualifying Holman for the first time this season. Marcus, Kit just outside that top 10, followed by Luna, A33 BT, Jamar in 14th, Wigan in 15th place, Iwatts in 16th, Recon, Hybrid and Wildcat with a difficult first qualifying session in NEF1 is starting in P19. As Matty speaking there about session evolution, gaining over a second on his runs. As a very, very solid performance there by Kit. I would like to point out as well the gaps between Noah, Mr. Wilco, and Holman. You can even extend that down to Max and Kit as well, but 3 cars separated by less than 300ths of a second. Very, very close indeed. But it doesn't matter because Tess will be starting on pole position for the US Grand Prix. Matty Adam will start alongside him in P2 with Squidge in P3, Ray in P4, and Reina making the top 5 for the first time this season. Right then, we'll be going to a little bit of a break before we start this race. It'll be in a couple of minutes' time, so no one ready up on the grid. Doing so will trigger an automatic qualifying ban for the next race. Now then, we'll be right back in a couple of minutes' time. We'll give you to a bit of a waiting screen to just sit and enjoy for a couple of minutes. Go have a drink, go relax just a little bit. NEF1 Racing is coming right back in a couple of minutes' time. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Alright everyone, ready up has been given. We are bound to go racing at any moment here at Circuit of the Americas. 28 laps worth of running and a couple of interesting situations on the grid. mainly Squidge and Ray W25 in that McLaren will be lining up alongside each other. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how that goes. McLaren and Ferrari poised right now to be battling each other for the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull's going to be in that mix as well. Aston Martin looking good. Could probably just get a bit more pace out of that car for both of them, as well as Mercedes and Sauber also looking strong early on here. Racing Bulls, Kit W41 putting in a very, very good performance. But looking at it, we have not too many teams within that top 10. We have Mercedes, we have Sauber, we have Aston Martin, McLaren, Ferrari and Red Bull. 5 teams in total. Usually have a bit more inside the top 10. So the balancing of this season could be a bit different from what we've had previously. We'll wait and see. Points for a couple of the teams might be a bit more tricky to obtain this season. We could have a closer battle at the bottom than maybe the midfield, in which we saw this season. However, it's the first race out of 18. So let's be easy making any sort of judgments yet. Very, very far away from knowing anything about this season. So then you can see on your screen here on board with a BT moving a bit up the field. We'll go on board with our pole sitter Tess, the season 9 champion, contender for last season's championship, has been a contender for multiple seasons in a row now. Matty with a resurgence last season out, did very, very well to finish P2, comfortably ahead of Tess actually. Squidge, a one-time NEF1 champion in Season 10. Ray, still looking for his first win in NEF1, but a multiple-time podium sitter who came within 2 points of the constructor standings. And Emreina, one of the breakouts last season and, well, evidently one of the better drivers in the league. This is going to be one hell of a season to watch. Kit with a big improvement this qualifying session. Luna in the Alpine. A33 BT with a resurgence in the Racing Bulls maybe. Jamar, the one-time Constructors' Championship in Ferrari with something to prove. Wigan, will he be resurgent in Ferrari power? Moving away from the Williams he never really got to grips with. Iwatts ended out the last season really strong. Can he be resurgent here in COTA? Recon and Wildcat, what can they do for Williams, who are struggling right early on here at the early stages of the season? Hybrid with so much potential, which we saw last season with a podium in Austin. Can he deliver here early on in Season 11? We're about to find out, because this season is just about to get underway. Ladies and gentlemen, it is go time for the United States Grand Prix. We have 5 red lights, and it is lights on, away we go, and Tess gets away well. Matty alongside him gets a decent start. Squidge just falling behind a little bit on the outside, not going to be able to do too much from there. Matty tries the inside. Tess has that very much covered off. A little bit of tangling at the back. Iwatts, very, very good start. 6 positions up, so is Hybrid. No massive losers off the start though. Couple of big winners. Mac is down 5 positions, but no spins, no big incidents. But A33, BT and Mac is the big losers. You would imagine if they maybe just came together. Hybrid 7 positions. Jamar 5 positions up. And Iwatts, who was 6 positions up at one point, now 2 positions, settling in P14. But Tess got away cleanly, and now it is on to Matty to be able to follow him round this first lap, to get that DRS at the end of lap 1, and be able to bring that train up alongside. Squidge on Matty, is he going to try making an early move here early on in this race? Nah, just looks at it, thinks better of it. We have a Sauber going down the inside of the Aston Martin. That is Holman on Djokovic for an early move this season. Nicely done. Djokovic just looking to contest it a little bit. Not able to do so. And we have a Sauber maybe pulling one down the inside of the Ferrari. That is Jamar and Wilco going side by side. Robbing wheels a little bit, but Wilco was well within his rights to make that move. Jamar maybe didn't really see it coming. That's Wilco taking a place right off Jamar. in really, really nice fashion. Mr. Wilco then up a position, same lap as Holman, and Sauber getting along nicely, and Tess has broken DRS on Matty Adam 98. 1 second separate to two, and then it is a battle for P2 downwards. The Ferrari down the inside of Mr. Wilco. Jamer's going to struggle on traction, taking a sharp line like that. And the two Alpines are chasing tail at the moment. Two cars in the pit lane. It's both the Racing Bulls, and that is going to massively hold up Beatty, whilst Kit is having his front wing changed, and it's starting out as a disaster race for Racing Bulls, and they need a safety car, and they need one quick. The yellow flags then. 1980s Wildcat and Recon, a race of their own moment with Wigan. Mac is down a lot of positions on the start as well, recovering up to P14. Just but about is not having any damage, but it wasn't the start that he would have wanted this season. And now Squidge down the inside of Matty Adam into the heaviest braking zone of the circuit after the DRS straight. And he's up to P2. Matty has settled P3 at the moment in his McLaren. His teammate just behind him. And Reina holding very, very solid station in P5 at the moment. Not being challenged at all by Noah yet this race. Holman has gained a couple of positions. Djokovic must have made a mistake somewhere, because he's fallen back 2.5 seconds on Holman since being overtaken by him a lap ago. As Jamar, you would imagine, got past Wilk on the DRS zone, as it predicted one-stop strategy, medium to hard, or medium soft, maybe if you want to go on a two-stopper. It's an Alpine there looking towards the inside of Mr. Wilco, thinks better of it. A bit too far back to make a move like that. Just needs to keep calm in the early stages of this Grand Prix. We're on lap 3 out of 28, and there's a very, very long way to go. On board then with Hybrid, chasing down his teammate, trying to follow suit. Luna goes a little bit wide, probably be a track limit warning for the Spaniard. Now then, keeps chasing down Mr. Wilkes. One big DRS train with Djokovic at the very front, who's going to be left vulnerable here. But he has about a 6/10 gap, which is about what you need in order to make a successful defense. Jamar's going to start closing in quite rapidly towards the end of the straight, just runs out of juice a little bit. Lock up from Djokovic, but that gets sorted, and Djokovic maintains that P8 for the time being. But he's losing time quickly, 3.3 seconds. When you lose that DRS, it's very hard to recover. Right now, Tess is in an absolute class of his own. It's rare that we see a driver run off with a lead like this, but Tess right now is commanding this race by 2 seconds after 3 laps. As then is one big train from P2 and downwards. Down to P7 is Holman. No real moves going on as of there. As you see, Mr. Wilco running well and truly close to the back of Jamer at the moment. Luna quickly arriving on that scene. Then Iwatts has been able to get by the Alpine of Hybrid, actually. Those two have done battle for quite a couple of seasons together now. Back since season 2, if I'm not mistaken, when Hybrid came into the league, partnering Danny DC97 in McLaren of all teams. If I'm not mistaken, Squidge has been able to overtake Matty now for P2 on track. There's a DRS overtake into the heavy braking zone. We're just coming up to with Iwatts van. On the medium tires. We'll have a look at tire strategies. Everyone's starting on medium tires apart from Djokovic, elected to go on to the hard tires, and that would explain why he's losing pace in comparison to Holman and Noah, why he's losing quite a significant amount of time. But those hard tires should soon find a pretty good operating window. As for A33 BT, he must have had another problem because he's not lost another 21 seconds to his teammate. Obviously 7 or 10 seconds of those would have been because of his pit stop. I mean, it must have had some sort of other issue. Both Racing Bulls, as said, in desperate need of a safety car right now. A virtual safety car? Absolutely not. They need a full core safety. So then we have the Sauber on the back of SFLY Jamar. Jamar not going to have any DRS to play around with as in regards to Djokovic, and this should be an easy overtake for Wilco now. The question is Luna going to be able to slipstream her way alongside and pass Jamar as well? Wilco rounds the outside of Jamar, can't go for the inside. Jamar covers that off, but he's not able to challenge back down inside Jamar as a defensive move. Mr. Wilco takes P9 away for the time being. That's a close battle that we'll keep monitoring over the next couple of laps. As for the lead of the Grand Prix, Tess still maintaining that 2-second advantage over Squidge and Matty. Ray and Reina, they're holding station the way they've been running. Djokovic has kind of stopped that bleeding a little bit in terms of pace and is now actually starting to catch a little bit on the back of Holman and Noah. Have those hard tires. Oh, it's a massive problem for Djokovic, who is out of this race, loses the car coming out of the final corner, and we have that safety car that was so important for a beat. As we have a massive visual glitch as well. Let's just cut away to anything else. Djokovic, who I was just talking about, started having some momentum on the hard tires. Was that over pushing perhaps? And he starts out this season the way he started out last season, looking promising throughout the race as well, looking promising through qualifying, and then a DNF this time at turn, is it 18 if I'm not mistaken, the final corner around COTA. Djokovic then becomes the first retiree of the NEF1 season, and he does so on lap 5 out of 28. As Hybrid picks up the first penalty of the season for a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. And that is a penalty that'll severely ruin his race. Let's have a look at the other penalties. It's 6 seconds worth for Kit. That'll be track limits infractions, or infringement, sorry, and 3 seconds for IWATS for track limits infringements as well. You would imagine then quite a lot of people are going to get rid of these medium tires that I would imagine is not going to be feeling too good right about now. So this will neutralize the race after not too much running. 6 laps in. Feels like we've done quite a bit of racing on only 6 laps time. We're yet to be a quarter into this Grand Prix and a lot has already happened. So then, dream news, if nothing else, for both Kit and BT. BT's come into the pit lane, come out of the pit lane. New hard tyres. He's surely going to try to get to the end on those. As Tess is coming in, Squidge is coming in, and Matt is coming in. Let's see who can get the best pit stop. Usually it's a 2.2 second. Hard tyres going on Tess. Hard tyres going on Squidge. Hard tyres going on Matty's. Anyone else opting for something different? Noah is medium tires going on the Aston Martin of Noah. Now has to recover the points for Aston Martin. Maybe just deciding to go a bit more aggressive. Hybrid, I can pit. The problem is he'll be in a bit of a crappy situation whatever he does now because of that drive-through penalty. It'll be difficult to him for him to recover through this Grand Prix. As Ray 25 and Rain are both staying out. I questioned that decision a little bit by Ray 25 on those old medium tires. I can't come out now. We'll lose too many positions. Can't come in now, can Ray? Would have had to come out a lap ago. And so from Rayna. And I get the problem for Ray with his teammate coming in as well, but it might have been worth the gamble. Realistically for Ray, even if he's getting held in the pit lane by a little bit. Now he's got a lot of people behind him as up to the pit. Hybrid and Macus are the only ones not to do so, along with Kit actually on that medium tire. I don't understand why, because there's a free pit stop if he does it. He'll still be lost alongside a BT. But he'll have fresh tires and be lost at least. There's a free pit stop. Come on, Kit, do it. Gotta get your strategic in the game. I'm not gonna be able to make the end of the race on those tires. You just might on the hards, and you have the natural pace in order to progress a little bit up this field. So then, who's had a decent start to the Grand Prix? Let's just have a look. Most people have made their pit stops, as we can count Ray and Rain out of that list, and then the obvious winner of this start is Tess. Max has had a decent start as well, but he's yet to pit. Squidge Matty having a couple of cars in between themselves and Tess now is not going to be ideal on this restart. Noah's done well. I question that move onto the mediums. It's going to have to pit again. We'll wait and see what that strategy ends up being, and very well could have another safety car here. Then we have Jamer in P10, Luna in P11. It's been a quite neutral start. Wilco has lost out a little bit with this safety car. He's not going to be overly happy with it, but just got to get your head down. But then Djokovic, first retiree of this season. Really unfortunate. We'll see him again in Vegas. But that essentially means he'll be starting last for the Vegas sprint race as well. Or at least P19, as Darren Stahl, if he races in Vegas, will be confirmed in last due to his no attendance here in COTA. So then, a difficult situation for Djokovic, starting off the season in a very tricky way. Ray in P1, followed by Rain in P2 and Tess in third. How quickly is Tess going to be able to clear Rain and Ray's question? Ray going to be doing everything he can to hold this pack up to allow Matty to make a couple of moves. But Tess, with this pace and on new tyres, how long are you realistically going to be able to hold him back for? Kit is now the only driver, sorry, Beat is the only driver who is not within the field. He's actually on the other side of the track. Wait and see if the safety car gives him another lap to catch up. Safety car is going to be staying out for one more lap then to allow Beat to catch up to the rest of the field. But if I was him, I'd probably start pushing a little bit, which is exactly what he's doing on his brand new hard tyres. It's not what he's going to want to do. They'll find a point where he determines I'll catch up within a lap, and then he'll start backing off as Hybrids received a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane as his evening goes from shit to more shit. So then a very bad start to the race for Hybrid. He's now on hard tyres, but he'll have to serve that penalty as soon as he comes into the pits. He's not able to serve a drive-through at the during a safety car. Now and at least on fresh boots. As for a Beat, you would imagine it's just going to start backing off a little bit now that he realizes he's going to catch up to the rest of the pack. And just start building up a bit of battery pressure. He will arrive on the scene though with significantly warmer tires than the guys ahead of him. Strategic? No, but a benefit? Absolutely. Those are tires that are going to be up to racing temperature, about 90 cozy degrees. Everyone else you would imagine is going to be down to 50s or even 60s or even 50s at this point. You can just see how BT wants to get on with this as well to maintain those tire temperatures. Here we go then, the safety car is coming in this lap and Ray is going to be controlling the restart. Feel free to set a pace and then control that pace in a reasonable manner. And when the safety car is in the pit lane, the restart is yours, Ray, to do whatever you want with. The safety car's not really disappearing down sector 3, but it's not going too quick here. And Reina right on the back of Ray 25. As the safety car has just entered the pit lane. As the race is restarted then, and Ray gets a decent restart. Gets a little bit of a jump on him, Reina. Not a massive jump though, but here comes Tess. And he is going to be very, very eager to pounce on the guys ahead of him. What is he going to be able to get done? Beatty now on warm tires as well. We'll keep an eye on what he's going to be able to do throughout the next couple of corners. Stuck with, well, but he's still in last place. Wildcat with his first penalty in his NEF1 tenure. 3 seconds for track limits. So then, no DRS until next lap. I quite missed when we had 3 laps in between when the DRS was first enabled on lap 3. I quite like that a bit more than on lap 2. Don't know why, it's a 1 lap change, but it just opened the door to actually pull away a little bit for the lead. In the same situation for Ray right now. If he was able to pull away a second from him, Reina with 2 laps to go, it'd just be a bit easier to have some variety. But then this last season we'll be doing an NEF1 with DRS as a factor, because next season we're doing the 2026 expansion as Squidge falls his way by Mac is there. We'll be doing the 2026 expansion where DRS should not be a factor. Obviously, if you haven't heard the news, there won't be an F1 26. There'll be a F1 26 expansion for this current game and the platform that it is built on. So then, Noah down inside of Marcus through the quadruple right hand, and that's a very, very nice move. That's the new tyres working their magic, and now he's going to be able to disrupt a little bit the running for Matty, Squidge and Tess on those new tyres. Squidge not quite able to keep up with the top 3 at the moment, but did make a little bit of a mistake coming out of the final corner. You would imagine so with the amount of time that he lost just then. So then DRS enabled, and Tess taking his time with these 2 leaders. Ray and Reina right now running uninterrupted, but you would imagine Tess is going to get ready to strike quite soon. Question is he going to strike heading into the hairpin that is coming up? He can go late on the brakes. He does go late on the brakes. There's not too much point in Reina fighting this one, but he is going to fight this one. The question is now, who's gaining that DRS? Is it Reina or is it Tess? Tess is gaining that DRS, and this has left Reina in a bit of a pickle. Actually, Tess does both get the DRS, actually. That's lovely stuff. But with that move, Tess unable to get by Ray W25. Now Squidge on the back of Reina looking to pounce, and the advantage Tess had of about a second over Squidge has been eaten up with this, and now it's a lovely little train down to Noah and Holman in 6th and 7th. As Luna then, I believe, up into points for the first time this season. Currently sitting P10 behind Makis, ahead of Mr. Wilco. Oh, as that's an aggressive move from Luna that really was never going to work. Not a corner where you can make a diving move in. However, he might set her up beautifully for the move into turn 1 on Mackers, who tries to defend a long way around. He's not going to be able to hold that one. And Luna moves up into P9. Wilco goes by Mackers as well in the S's. They're side by side, actually. But Wilco just has that position, and Marcus falls from 9th to 11th in the span of about a corner and a half. So then, Noah, 3-second time penalty, and Tess now right on the back of Ray. He's not going to make a diving move down the inside into the hairpin this lap around, but you would imagine he's going to get a lovely bit of tow on Ray 25 coming onto the DRS straight, and this should be Tess back into the lead of the Grand Prix after it was occupied by Ray for a little bit. He's gonna go a bit defensive, Ray, but he's not gonna be able to fight it too hard. Tries around the outside, does everything he can, and he actually holds the outside as Ray turns to the inside for the next corner. Tess leaves the room, but Ray is not able, with his old tyres, to make anything of it, and Tess takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Squidge now in P3, and what's the strategy here? Ray is just backing him in to Matty at the moment, who's a bit behind. But Ray acting like an absolute roadblock. That didn't really work though, and now Matty's going to go flying by his teammate. Bit of a miscommunication there. Ray wanted to dive into the pits, Matty going down the inside into the final corner, but the two McLarens sorted that out. But this means that Tess has been left with a 1.3 second advantage as we're heading on to lap 13 of the Grand Prix. Holman now a bit behind Noah as well, not able to maintain that era's advantage, with Jamar, Wilco, Luna, Iwat and Mackis making up the top 10. 1980s Wildcat, NEF1 debutant, is running closely alongside Wigan, just ahead of Ray, who has come into the pit lane just then. 7 lap old hot tyres should be able to get those to the end if he really does care for them. It'll be a long stint indeed. We'll see what he's able to do here. Wigan and Kit ahead of him. Kit is running a very, very good... Save out is just about to spin out. Kit is running a very, very good comeback race after the difficult start that he had, but will it yield any points? For a driver that I'm sure we'll see in the points a couple of more times this season, but that car is looking slidey. As Iwatts then is able to get by Luna on the DRS straight. These two drivers have gotten tangled up a couple of times with each other as Iwatts and Luna last season, but Iwatts getting by cleanly. J. Marvan on Holman for the final position within the top 5, and this is a race that really played into J-Mar's hand after running quite a poor qualifying, must be said. The strategy call to come into the pit lane with safety car came at the right time. He was able to do so without being held up at all by his teammate, and that has put him right in contention for top points this afternoon. Yellow flags in sector 3. I believe that was Wildcat just having a bit of a moment because he's lost time on Wigan. We have 2 cars coming into the pit lane. Is Luna is coming in on 7 lap all hard tyres. New front wing on the Alpine. It's gone tangled up with someone. Kit is coming into the pit lane as well. 12 lap all mediums. Not going to be feeling great. And new hard tyres that'll see him well and truly to the end of this Grand Prix. 14 laps, those will do no problem. What I'm a bit concerned about is Noah and Mr. Wilco at the moment. If we don't have another safety car, their strategy will be very, very hard to pull off. As we have messages from Onrachek saying, how's it looking this season? Hello, buddy. Hope you are doing well. It's looking quick and it's looking good for Tess, for sure. Squidge and Matty looking quite similarly paced as well. And the battle for P4 at the moment in this race and in this championship very well could be wide open, but it is the usual suspects out in front for this race at least. We'll see how that progresses on over the next couple of weekends. Big improvements in pace, however, for Kit especially, must be said, qualified in P11. Right now, Wildcat, the NEF1 newcomer, running very, very close to the points. Up in P11, so this race might just be coming to him. We're going to see how this race pans up, but it's good to have you on the stream, buddy. Hope you are doing very, very well, and whenever you want your seat back, you'll always have a place with us, mate. Just let me know anytime, I'll sort something out. So then, as a 33 BT is chasing down a hybrid at the moment, the gap is 1.2 seconds right now between Hybrid and Beaten. There's a couple of seconds up to Emreina as well. I had to come into the pit lane. Emreina, I really hope, can go on an offensive charge now over the next couple of laps. He had a good start to the race and then just fumbled, in my opinion, a little bit with not making the call to pit. And now things are starting to spread out within the top 3 as well. Matty just struggling a little bit for race pace, seemingly, as in comparison to Squidge. Maybe Noah's medium tires should be starting to go off quite soon. I don't think those mediums had at all the type of mech that Noah wanted, unless he knows that this will be a 2-stopper regardless. then an effective undercut could be an idea. But those mediums, in terms of racing position, hasn't really gained him anything. Yellow flags in Sector 2, and Kit has had an issue in VSS. No further action on that one, and no further action. It's not an investigation, but no further actions in order to clear that car needed. It's able to get it out of gravel and back on track. But a tough debut, or a tough debut, season debut here for Kit W41 in Racing Bulls in general. As we passed halfway distance this Grand Prix now, lap 16 out of 28, and the race is starting to shape up here. We're starting to see the race-long battles form. Finally, the safety car did interrupt a couple of things, but containing indeed, and we have a lot of penalties on offer right now. So if you enjoy seeing races decided by track limit penalties, this is the race for you, ladies and gentlemen, because a lot of things are going to change when we pass the checkered flag. Hybrid, 10-second time penalty. Kit, 12 seconds worth of time penalties. It's not been his day at all, and right now stuck in a wall towards the first corner, trying to get it back on circuit. Got to be careful when reversing back onto a circuit. It can get you disqualified. And Kit then into the pit lane, you would imagine, for yet another new front wing. And it's a retirement from Kit this weekend, and a really poor first race of the season for Kit. It was looking good in qualifying, but it wasn't ever able to get going. Let's hope that car does not in any way interrupt Test when he comes around the final couple of corners. Thankfully despawned before that. That is a penalty coming Kit's way, unfortunately, as here comes the race leaders, Tess, Matty and Squidge. Aston, along with Jamer still in that Ferrari. Another 3-second time penalty is not going to aid him in his battle with Holman at the moment, who's keeping that 5-second gap to Noah with the 3-second time penalty and another pit stop. Noah might just struggle a little bit this Grand Prix to make anything of it. We'll wait and see, but he needs to make another pit stop regardless of what happens. That'll see him right to the very back of the field with Luna and Beatty right now. How's Ray doing on the slightly newer hard tyres? He's about to get by Wiggins 71 the Haas. Says thank you very much to the Haas for making that a bit easy. Not really opting to defend that position as Wiggin, and Ray moves up in P10 back into the points. Now there's a long way to go before he catches the back of Recon, who's found his way into the points after a tough qualifying session. Has run a good race, clean race, Recon. A very, very quiet but solid race. And Recon is up into the points alongside iWatts, Mr. Wilco, and the aforementioned Jamar, Holman, Noah, and the top three. So when iWatts hunting down Mr. Wilco, Recon and Ray 4.5 seconds behind each other. So that's 4.5 seconds from iWatts to Recon and 4.5 seconds from Recon to Ray. So it's quite big gaps than midfield. We usually see very, very tight racing. The smaller gaps today out front and out back. Obviously, you usually have quite small gaps out front, but you see more big gaps than we usually do in any F1 Grand Prix. Feels just spread out a little bit with these separate strategies, as there goes Jamar. down the inside of Holman with the ADAS on DRS. Just throws one down the inside, and Holman's unable to defend that one. The problem for Jamar is he has 6 seconds worth of time penalties to play with. Holman in that Sauber. I struggle to see how Jamar's going to be pulling 6 seconds over 10 laps on Holman. We'll wait and see. The Ferrari looking very, very solid through there, actually gaining quite a couple of attempts just in that corner alone. It's Ferrari power versus Ferrari power for Sauber and the Works Ferrari team. And as for Noah, how's his tyres going to be looking? Is he maybe opting to go on a set of softs to the end? Will certainly be something to watch out for, as Matty and Squidge have swapped places. Matty's up to P2. And we'll keep an eye on who has that fastest lap point reintroduced for this season. Right now, of course, it's another point going the way of Tess, because why not? The moment we reintroduce fastest lap point, wouldn't it be brilliant if it goes to the winner? And right now, Wigan will be starting the Las Vegas Grand Prix sprint on pole position, the way things stand. Ray alongside him. That'll put Ray in a very, very good position. Tess would be starting in P10 and Marina in P11. So that is the system that will be ran for these sprints, as Hybrids had a problem in the SSEs down into last place with a lot of penalties. Hybrid has not been a brilliant first outing this season for the Alpine outfit. Luna with that front wing change. We don't know what happened. I would imagine we might get an investigation on it after the Grand Prix. But for Luna, tough with that front wing change coming at the time that it did. Noah, here we go then with 8 laps to go, 9 if you count this one, is coming into the pit lane, 80 kilometers an hour, and what tires going on that car? Is he putting on softs? Be very, very aggressive. Yeah, soft tires going on the Aston Martin of Noah. Let's see where he can recover then. He's going to drop quite a number of positions. Will come out just ahead of Wigan, I would imagine. Might actually come up behind Wigan if he's a bit unlucky here. It'll be very, very close. Noah, Wigan on the outside. Noah just makes it out ahead. He probably had this lap because those mediums were falling off. Now 3.6 seconds as Hybrid is retired from this race. And, of course, for Noah, it's a full course safety car just when he did not need one. And Hybrid is out of this race in similar fashion to Djokovic at the same place. And we have a safety car to bunch everything up. Recon, no, gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, as Recon was starting to look a bit on the up for this race. It was up to P7. This is really going to work out for the drivers unpenalized. I'm talking Wigan, I'm talking Morena, Wilco, Luna, Holman as well. This will be a massive advantage for those drivers without any sort of time penalties. We'll have about 5 laps worth of racing action when everyone's come into the pit lane and made their stops. You would imagine mediums going on here. I don't think the quick guys will quite opt for the softs with a fall off, but it could be split. We'll wait and see. Tess, usually quite good with strategy calls. Matty, going quite aggressive every now and again. We'll wait and see what he does. Squidge, with a lot to lose now as well as this entire top 3. Tess, soft tires going on. Matty, medium tires going on. Oh yes. And Squidge, medium tires going on. Tess has gone aggressive. Matty and Squidge opting for a bit more longevity. Matty just coming out ahead of Squidge. Jamar coming in as well for medium tires on that Ferrari. Noah, obviously, he's out on those soft tires. There's nothing he can do about it, but where can he get out? Now he can start accelerating without that delta. Can he make it out ahead of the Sauber that's just coming out of the pit lane? He's going to be unable to make the Sauber. He's going to be unable to make Jamar, but he's able to get out ahead of Iwatts, crucially enough for him. And Noah's up to 7th place. But then a lot of people coming into the pit lane now are coming out on medium tires to just have a bit more longevity. as Ray has elected to not go into the pit lane at all, and I believe he's made the same mistake twice this Grand Prix. Now Ray's gained a couple of positions. Question is, can he fend off Holman, Jamer and the likes? He's penalised, unfortunately, though. Only 3 seconds as comparison to Recon's drive-through and Jamer's 6th. So then, this will create a bit of drama throughout those lines, and maybe in the fastest lap battle as well. This is actually probably given the fastest lap away to Tess. I'd be surprised if anything else. We'll wait and see. Some fresh soft tyres, you would imagine is going to be leading up until at least the final couple of laps, and yeah, in terms of a fastest lap, Tess has probably secured it, so that's quite smart from going on the softs, but that win is worth significantly more than a fastest lap. Matty and Squidge having done the opposite. Medium tyres for both one-time NEF1 champions and hunters on Tess this Grand Prix. So then, 1 lap worth of safety car remaining, you would imagine. It's not coming in this lap. A lot of guys towards the rear has selected soft tyres. Recon has, Marina and Marcus, both the Williams, both the Mercedes and a BT. All of which haven't had a tough season outing here. 1980s Wildcat coming into the pit lane and takes out his front wing in the process. What was his objective here, 1980s Wildcat? Taking his front wing off in his opening race. Why did he go into the pit lane? Wildcat, was he maybe opting for a new set of medium tyres? Well, he'll definitely need a new front wing now. But his new softs going on that car as well. What was the objective from Wildcat? Did he maybe want to get penalty free? However, you don't serve 3 second time penalties in the pit lane. Don't quite get that pit stop. It ended up costing him, well, a lot of time in the front wing. But he's on 1 lap fresher tyres than the rest of them. That could actually make a bit of a difference. Then again, he'll have to push a bit on those tyres now, whereas drivers like Max and Marina won't have it. So then it's a late safety car to decide this US Grand Prix. We've been streaming for about 80 minutes so far. I hope you are enjoying this race, because I certainly am. Let's see. Has this move by Wildcat triggered 1 less lap of rating? If so, Tess, I believe, will be thanking Wildcat after this race. When will Wildcat catch up to the back of the field? When will the safety car register? The pack is bashed up and we are good to go. It comes in rather early here. Or is there going to be a late call in? Tess, I think, has got to be prepared to not really do too much on this restart. But surely can't come in now. I would have loved to go racing just this lap. But Tess is not going to be complaining that we have a safety car for yet another lap. Meanwhile, Matty and Squidge are going to be sat there feeling the medium tyre advantage going away significantly. Not ideal, this. If you are currently watching and is not followed to NEF1, please do so for more of this type of racing action every single week, every single Monday night at 9 PM. Come check us out. Next week it'll be the return of the sprint format to NEF1 with a reverse championship sprint in Las Vegas. The first of 3 to come this season, so don't miss out on that. Tess, Matty, Adam and Squidge is your top 3, followed by Ray on 10 lap old hard tyres, and yeah, it's a bit meh for Ray. That will have to make the most of it. Holman in P5, followed by Jamer in 6th, Noah in 7th, Iwatts in 8th, Wilco in 9th, and Recon currently sitting in 10th. That position would naturally fall to Luna, who's not come into the pit lane for new tyres either. She's on 9 lap old hards and is going to be put under pressure from Wigan and Rain and Mac is behind. Golden situation this for Holman to maybe be able to snatch away a podium, but if nothing else, get a top 5. Him being unpenalized is the main contributing factor there as well, apart from the fact that he's done a very, very competent race. Don't let that fact go unnoticed. But being unpenalized in a situation like this, it is so crucial, as now the safety car is coming in this lap. Tess is controlling the pace at the restart, and we'll see if he backs up the pack a little bit more maybe than what Ray did, to just give himself a couple of more options. Yes, he does. Everyone must maintain single file formation until this race is restarting. We're moving about at a solid 60 kilometers an hour. Snail speeds here at COTA. But this is working in Tess's favor as well, because it's cooling down everyone's mediums and hards significantly more than his soft tires. Might those softs now be the way to go? 5 laps of racing action to go, and that is a jump on a restart like you would not believe. Here we go then. The US Grand Prix is restarted. No overtaking until the safety car control line. That means into the last corner as well. There's going to be one big snail coming around that final corner. Wildcat being a bit jumped on the restart there, but here we go. BT getting a very decent entry to the final corner, must be said. Didn't get the best exit. I thought he might just have a little look on Marcus, but not quite close enough. But here we go then. Crucial thing for Matty now, maintain a 1 second advantage to Tess. How difficult is that going to be? Very, very difficult. And so far so good for the restart of Ray W25. On this hard tires, if you can make this work, will be a very, very good call staying out, as I was a bit skeptical of when he made that goal. But if he can work it out, Jamer and Holman once again getting tangled up with each other, and this just works in Ray's favor, because now that gap is almost a full second, and Matty crucially has almost lost a full second to Tess. Needs to keep that within a second by the first time he can open DRS, which is within 1 lap's time now. And this is one of those races where we'll find out the final standings of the Grand Prix after the race is concluded, when everyone has crossed the line, because the penalties added on, very, very hard to do the maths. But yeah, if you have a severe penalty, it'll be very, very difficult to make something off this race. So here we go then. It's Tess from Matty and Squidge. How are those soft tires of Tess going to hold on? Fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 34.9 set by Tess. It's an extra championship point. Maybe that was just secured even by Tess, unless Matty can get a bit of cheeky DRS and just use up a bit of extra battery in order to get that fastest lap point. Maybe Squidge can as well, because he actually has DRS right now on Matty, who is pushing like a madman in order to stay within DRS on Tess. Tess will realize that Matty will use up, if he has any track limit warnings, it's time to use those now. He's done a mega first sector on the medium tires. The question is, how quickly do the softs fall off? How much pace have they got in them? Because after this, we have 3 further laps to go. The soft tires did about 8 or 9 laps before they started falling off significantly, and Tess is weaving quite heavily to break the toe. Matty is closing in by a lot, looking under braking, but he's too far back. But this will be a defensive job from Tess, because it looks like those soft tires are not offering up too much grip already. Could we have a battle for the win here with a couple of laps to go? Matty has now brought himself well within contention of that race win. Squidge is there as well, and we usually have these unexpected winners in battles like this. Now, who is going to be able to control this the best? Tess, not in a favourable position right now. His tyres are only going to get worse. Matty and Squidge, maybe already with a tyre advantage. This'll get interesting. Holman has fallen back 4 seconds already. He's done battling with J-Mark, keep that in mind. But oh my goodness, the pace of this top 3 right now. So then, 0.4 seconds, 0.3 seconds. These top 3 separated by 0.8 of a second in total. If you took Matty away, it would look like Squidge was quite close on the back. of Tess, but there's a car between them as well. It's like the opening scene of Cast this. It's absolutely brilliant. Attributing any sort of personalities in order to these might be difficult if we do it based off those free cars. That's Lightning Chick and the King. You'll have to make your reservations for that in the comments down below to see who you deem as who. But here we go then. Matty on the back of Tess, rounds the outside. Is he going to be able to get that move done? Tess locks up down the inside. He's going to try to defend it. Matty is going to get the inside for the next corner though, and now it's clear that the mediums are starting to find their operating window, just forcing Tess and a free wide into the next sequence of corners. Tess down the inside of Matty, who just holds the outside, takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Tess is going to lose he's going to lose second place as well to Squidge 2017 here. With this, Matty's just able to find himself a little bit of breathing room. We have 2 racing laps to go, and Matty now has overtaken Tess, but has he done it too early? Is he going to be left vulnerable to Squidge? How good is Matty at defensive work? We're about to find out, because Squidge is looking fast in a straight line. He's very much on the back of Matty already on the run down to turn 1, or up into turn 1 should be said. Iwatts has done a very, very good job to find his way up to P6, and Reina Noah battling away for P7 and P8 at the moment on penalties, both of them. Wilco's looking beautiful right now to take a couple of positions away from these pair. Luna as well, along with Wigan and Matthews, might be able to find himself in the points. Is one big train. Unfortunately, whilst his midfield, I'm not going to say shenanigans, but whilst this midfield battle is going on, we're not going to be able to follow it because we have a battle for the lead with one lap to go. So we have another retirement from the race. It is Recon 21 with a lap to go. It's not ideal as Van has to go defensive. Squidge takes the lead of the Grand Prix Van. 1 lap to go, and now how is he going to be able to hang on to that? Tess made the wrong choice after being so good in qualifying, so good in the race, probably untouchable had he gone the tyre strategy a bit more spot on here, but he went for the soft tyres, and it looks like they've not fallen off, but they're not what they could be. And Squidge and Matty right now with the clear advantage. Who's going to be able to bring this home in first? Squidge versus Matty. This is going to be gloves off, and that might just open the door for Tess to sneak through here. It's not over until it's over. It's about 4 kilometers worth of racing to go. Here we go, turn 1. Matty doesn't seem remotely interested in trying to have a little look at Squidge. Tess has to be interested in looking at Matty Adam. He's trying to secure any type of point for himself at the moment. He has the fastest lap point. That's not going to change. But who will take the 25 points for the win? Matty and Squidge both loading up their batteries for assault and defense at the moment. We have an incident towards the back. It is Ray, Wildcat, and Beatty, I believe, who's gotten tangled up in something that has disconnected them from the battle for the points, and points for none of them throughout this race. Here we go then. This will decide the race win. Is it going to be Squidge? Is it going to be Matty? Matty just not getting the exit that he wanted. He is 6/10 behind Squidge as we're coming onto the DRS straight. It's just not going to be enough. He's going to run out of straight beforehand. He brakes so late, and now he's going to be all over Squidge, looking to pounce on any mistake. Matty might have just passed Tess 1 lap too early. It allowed Squidge to get ahead. It allowed Squidge to do it on the penultimate lap, and then just a slight touch of the rear from Matty coming out of that hairpin has allowed Squidge to just break away on the DRS straight, and he will defend his championship lead. The reigning NEF1 champion is going to restart this season in the best possible way. He wins the US Grand Prix from Matty, who finishes in P2, and Tess, who finishes 3rd with the fastest lap. Holman finishes a very, very strong 4th place, with Iwat popping up in 5th. That's a brilliant result for Red Bull still. J-Marv finishes in 6th, followed by Noah in 7th, Mac is in 8th, Wilco in 9th, and Wigan finishing 10th, which means sprint pole position belongs to Wigan. Mr. Wilco will be joining him on the front row in 1 week's time. Luna is going to be starting P11, just missing out on points by a couple of seconds. Emreina missing out there after a strong result as well. Following Emreina, we have Wildcat, Ray, and a Beatty. But what an ending to that race. Tess just miscalculating the fall off, I believe, on that soft tyre, and the mediums just found their operating window towards the end of the Grand Prix. But Squidge, he is the reigning NEF1 champion. What you saw there was how he got it done as well. Just calculating, just very, very good when it is spread to pounds, and he leads the Drivers' Championship after the first week of 18. It is brilliant stuff seen from Squidge 2017. They're absolutely beautiful racing. Matty did what he could, Tess did what he could as well after one of the most dominating qualifying performances we've seen from Tess. A session that came a little bit to Matty towards the end, but it was Tess's session all the way through, and it was Tess's race all the way through. There was no way he was dropping that unless we had a late safety car and a bit of carnage in the pit lane. Unfortunately for Tess, we did, and Squidge wins the United States Grand Prix to take the championship lead. As for the constructor standings, things are going to be very, very interesting up front. As for whatever reason, I wasn't able to get the top 10 graphic as well, which is royally pissing me off that the game does that for whatever reason. But it is what it is. Anyways then, that has been it for the start of this NEF1 season, and what a race it has been. COTA always delivers, and it delivers as a season opener as well. Next week out, it is the first time in NEF1 history, as I'm aware of, that we will not be running a qualifying session for a race. We will be going straight into a sprint race around the streets of Las Vegas for the Vegas Grand Prix that is coming up. Wigan will be starting on pole position then, barring any post-race penalties, with Mr. Wilco alongside him. Squidge will be starting in P10 with Matt in P9 and Tess in P8. So then it's advantage Tess in this championship battle that is already heating up. You do not want to miss that type of format. It's the first time we've ever done it. It should provide some interesting racing action indeed. But until then, we will see you in 7 days' time. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you in a week's time. Peace out.